Why isn't it fucking recording? Fuck's sake, fucking, oh. The following podcast contains very strong language, sorry, and themes that some people may find offensive. Don't say I didn't warn you. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to That Was the Week That Was It? The podcast that just wants to be your friend. Joining me for this episode is Emi Weber. Hello, Emi.
Hello.
And how are you?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Good?
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep asking you that. We live together. I should know, but
Yeah.
just we don't talk, do we? Okay, joining us for this episode is the incredible stand-up comedian Scott Capurro. How are you, Scott?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much. You're actually the third alien from the pod race scene in Star Wars Phantom Menace that we've had on this podcast. How do you feel about that?
Wow, you've got an alien fetish. What other aliens have you acquired?
Well, we've had Your Other Head, and we've had Sebulba.
Oh, that's a big one.
They're the two. Yes, we've had both of those.
Sebulba.
Yeah. Nice guy.
I know that name.
Yeah.
I bet.
It's good.
So the reason we've got you on this podcast is to ask you how your week was. So just as an overview, was it a good week?
It was all right. I mean, I flew in from California last Wednesday. So it's been a bit crazy around here because we had some Airbnb guests staying.
Oh, okay.
And my husband and I have a second bedroom which we lock everything into, everything that we care about, which is not much. But, things that we don't want broken. And everything we left out was broken.
Oh.
Everything. I mean, you guys, look, they broke the sofa. They broke this. Now, maybe that means they're having more fun than we were. But they broke the fucking sofa, smashed it, and how do you break a garlic press? Or a wine bottle opener?
What?
Or the ceiling light in the bathroom? Or how do you... What else? We went to John Lewis and we're just like, oh yeah, that needs to be replaced. Everything. I mean, I don't know. I had a converter on a lamp in the UK, which I brought here from California. A really nice little lamp.
Yeah.
He burned the converter. My husband didn't know. So when he went to plug the lamp in, the apartment almost blew up.
Oh,
so we lost that lamp as well. It's very debilitating. I mean, I know that we take the risk. I understand that. And I've reduced my notes as extensive as they were because we had people saying, you leave too many notes. But this is why, you fucking tards. This is why. Because you broke a fucking garlic press, you asshole. That's why I leave notes. We have a lead sort of metal old mantelpiece in our bedroom. No fireplace, just the mantle. They set hot drinks on the top of it. Now,
No.
So I'm going to have to leave a note about that. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to.
How long were they there for?
We were away for quite a while, for 5 months.
Oh.
Even so, that's a lot to break.
But still,
in
it's
5
like
months.
if we stay somewhere, if we break something, we tell the people that own it.
Yeah.
Just tell them. Oh, anyway.
Well,
So-
I mean, as long as there's a good story behind it as well. I mean, the garlic press, God knows.
How?
Might be a good one.
How?
Yeah.
That
I
is
know,
also
how?
so many things to break. And like, I'm trying to think, what have I broken in the last 5 months? And so we're renting, so we're not. This isn't our place, so like nothing. We
Nothing.
haven't broken anything.
How about the hook in the wall that hangs the coats? Somehow that thing was drilled in. They yanked that fucker out. I don't know how heavy their coats were.
Unbelievable.
I don't know.
I mean,
So yes, we've needed that. That's fine. And then, it's been good. I've been doing a bunch of TV since I've been back already, and then had a couple of nice swims. And my husband and I banged yesterday morning. That was nice. He made a good meal tonight. So it's all right.
Well, let's break it down. I want to know which day the banging was.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay, that's
Yesterday.
fine.
Yesterday morning.
So that's covered. Monday. How was Monday?
Last Monday was great. I had a 9 a.m. yoga class and a swim after, and then we sat at Gay Coffee in the Castro District in San Francisco and watched the naked guys walk by. All the naked guys, they come out on Mondays. I don't know why they're all there, and they wear little cock socks on their cocks, little like gold lame cock socks, as if you need to know where their cock is. But it's like, hello, it's right here. And then an African American fella joined. We'd never seen him before. The African American naked guy, and he had like a cock tube sock. He kind of put them to shame. But anyway, he was there with them, hanging out. That was great. Coffee. It's a bit early for it, 11:30, but whatever. Bring it on. It's San Francisco.
I was about to ask what makes it gay coffee, but I think you've answered that.
Yeah. Well, it's called Spikes, but we go there because they have outdoor seating, and a lot of people bring their dogs. We're real dog people. And it's just everyone's either gay or on the verge or has been. So it's gay coffee. Yeah. And then with the naked guys, what are you going to do?
So where are the naked guys going? Are they going for coffee, or are they just going past?
They get coffee, or they pose with tourists, or they walk up and down the Castro. Okay. Honestly, it's been a tradition for decades, but they're honestly making a point. Part of what I think they're responding to is the fact that part of San Francisco, like so much of San Francisco, which is the most expensive city in America to live in, so arguably the most expensive city in the world to live in now, ridiculously so, has become, to coin a phrase, gentrified. And whatever community was there before, what you might identify with the Castro, which is sort of a slightly alternative, left-leaning LGBT community and friends, has moved on. And what's taken their place are families and concerned young parents who don't want their kids seeing nudity. They've written letters to their supervisors, and they've tried to get the naked guys off the streets. And in San Francisco fashion, the naked guys are like, well, you can arrest us, but that's just going to putting me with my cocksock in a cell with a slightly anxious drug dealer. So up to you. What do you want to create? So most of the public supports the naked guys. I think the self-identified heterosexual parents have shut their mouths for a change, and we're all moving forward. Although the city continues to gentrify, and there's nothing, and I don't just mean in terms of, it's mostly about, it's not even about background, it's about income, really. And the Bay Area is producing now the most wealth than any single place in the history of the world.
Wow.
So that means that there's a lot of, well, like London, a lot of very wealthy people living in close contact, and space is limited there. The city's only 7 miles wide and 7 miles deep. That's it. That's all the land there is. And the Bay Area extends a bit, but it's all incredibly concentrated, and people scramble for property, and they're desperate to live in an urban area there. So
a matter of time before they take over Alcatraz and try and convert that into some swanky.
Funny you say that. That's in the cards, actually. Treasure Island, which is the sister of Alcatraz, where the Bay Bridge crosses over, that's been turned into luxury flats as well. So all of it's, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, they're all there. They're all within 7 or 8 square miles of one another, all of them. And all the, it's all happening very quickly.
You just need to convert Alcatraz into a big nightclub. That's what I think.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I'm sure it will.
I'd like to see it before that happens, though.
Would you?
Yeah, I want to visit Alcatraz as is before that
Yeah,
happens.
it's a great tour. It's really fun. I took my husband twice, actually, and it's really creepy, and it's a beautiful view of the bay. You don't get from anywhere else. It's great.
Just to rub it into all the people that were there. Like, look at that. Freedom.
That sounds great. Have you ever worn a tube sock yourself?
Not where the naked guys wear them, but I have. When I was younger, I did have a sock I jacked off into, if that's what you're asking, and I left it under my bed because my sister always went scrounging around my room looking for things. Yeah. And she found that one time, and then she held it up and tried to humiliate me. But my feeling was like, I don't know, my semen's in your hand right now, so I think you're the one who's.
Oh well, Monday sounded
That sounds nice.
It sounds great. Just coffee and cocks is, all you need,
Coffee
really.
and cocks.
Coffee and cocks. Tuesday, then, we're going to move on. What was that about?
We were packing and getting ready to come on this trip because we have a flat in San Francisco. When we leave it, we try to leave it as neat as possible. So that's a lot of work. And then, yes, there was that. I'm editing out some personal things. Everything's going fine in my marriage. And then it's all fine. And then it's really, really good. And then, and then Wednesday, I can tell you, we got on a plane and flew to Heathrow. And that was uneventful. We were surprised. We did get tested for COVID. Neither of us had it fortunately. But BA didn't ask, and they weren't concerned. They didn't want to know.
Oh,
They just want to make sure you have the test on the other side so Boris can get his cut. And we did. And we flew. It was very quick. Well, 11 hours, but on time. And my husband ate all the food offered to him and mine. He ate all the food, all the snacks, all of them. And I watched this horribly creepy film with Denzel Washington playing a cop in L.A., helping out a friend of his who was a cop. That guy who just won an Academy Award, I think, to play Freddie Mercury.
oh
that
yes,
actor.
yep. Rami Malek.
That hot little one with the big eyes. And in it, they both unjustly killed an innocent person as cops, and they're both let off.
Oh,
So it's a film about vigilante
that
justice.
sounds incredibly far-fetched.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something that would happen.
Terrible. 2.5 hours long. Films are so long.
Yeah.
So long.
Well, it needs to be on a flight like that. But I mean, I've been concerned because we were going to go to California next month, but we've had to cancel it. But we were going to go.
Why?
Just timing.
It was coming around too quickly, and unforeseen payments and things like that. And that was when, like, the COVID tests were ridiculous. That you have to have a certain amount of time before you come back. And we just couldn't take the risk at that point. And I just thought, well, we'll just postpone it. So, so BA. And so they at least still have our money. We'll just have to use it at a later date.
Yeah.
So,
But that was my concern. It's a long flight. And I've pretty much seen all the films that they're showing at the minute. Nothing new has been released. And I was wondering, how am I going to fill the time?
you don't have to know.
Can you get your hands on any sleeping pills? Anything? Because I took a few and I was asleep for like 8 hours.
It's an option.
I like sleeping on the flight. I try
really
to do
good.
that.
Never been able to do it though. Never been able to sleep on a flight.
Really?
Most times we've flown back from America has always been overnight, and Emily's sleeping next to me, but I am just wide awake watching the most films I would never watch. I'm watching there. I watched Saving Mr. Banks. I remember that in a delirium watching that film, thinking it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but I was just feeling awful.
What do you do with the kids do and download films on your phone?
Oh no.
No, it takes too much time and preparation, and I couldn't be bothered.
When I get to the airport, my phone will need charging, and I'll get really depressed.
Buy melatonin in the U.S. You can buy it anywhere. You can't get it here, but you can buy it at Trader Joe's there, and that's what I take, and it completely works.
Really,
Over the counter, $4. Get a whole bottle. Pop 2 of them. You're fine.
That's almost like time traveling, isn't it? It's like a portal almost.
I like it because like a long flight is so uncomfortable, and it's just nice to spend the majority of it asleep. So you just like, I only got 2 hours. Did he eat your food because you was asleep?
Oh yeah, sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd at least want my dessert.
Yeah, we just saved the dessert.
If you skip the food, you'll sleep better.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I don't. Obviously, you didn't travel economy.
I did.
You did? Oh, Scott, what happened?
We were going to go premium economy, but then the plane was so empty, we wanted a full row.
Oh.
And we saw there were only full rows in economy.
Nice.
So we went economy.
That's fair enough. But I was just thinking, when you eat on a cramped flight as well, I never enjoy it fully. And I just...
I don't, but I'm big as well, so I'm very much aware of encroaching on anyone else's space. So if I could grab a whole row, that's great, because although I'm wide, I'm short. So I can kind of squeeze and lay down across like 3 seats, which is quite good. And I'll sleep that way.
Funny on the BA though, they've made those little armrests so you can't push them all the way up.
Yeah.
It's just a slight bit of torture all the way.
Yes.
That's all they want you to feel. Yeah.
Yep.
But and then we arrived here Thursday, and that was all right. And then we found our place broken. Everything broken. Broken.
Yeah.
And then since then, sex, swimming. Yeah, bit of yoga, a couple of TV shows, and here we are.
TV shows, what have you been doing?
Oh, there's a show, it's on GB News. Go ahead and call me a fascist if you like. It's on GB. I'm not a fascist, but anyway, on Twitter, apparently I am, because people get really angry.
You've got to get the work where you can. You've got to get the work where you can.
Hello. Yeah, it's TV. I tell them, if Fox News offered me a job, would you be angry? Because, hi, Murdoch's. But anyway, so it's not that they're the same, but it's a show called Headliners, and it's on 11 o'clock. It's hosted by a comic, and they have two comics on to go through the papers for an hour. And we make fun of both sensitive and slightly less sensitive subject matter for 54 minutes. It's great. You should watch it. Really fun. It's great. And I've been on with Leo Kurz twice, who's fantastic. And Simon Evans hosted it last night. He's great. And Mark hosted Two Nice Groups. They're all good, funny people. And we just joke, sit around and laugh for an hour.
I'm having a good time.
Nice.
That's it.
And it's a job.
That is it. It's a job. Definitely.
That should be it.
So how long are you in the UK for?
Until June, I think. We're going to Russia in a few weeks for a week.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither did Russia, I imagine.
It's funny that the gig in Russia is... I kind of leapt at it because this guy's asked me to come before, but I didn't really want to go in February. But he said, well, you should come now because this is the last one. The government's cracking down on comedy shows. So
wow.
last one they can do. Yeah.
Jeez.
Can you imagine that happening here? Jesus.
No.
It's hilarious.
No.
Yeah.
That's all we've got.
Yeah.
All we've
That's
got
all
here
we
is
have
comedy.
Well,
Dark
Yeah.
and whatever.
If they manage to get rid of BBC, that's a whole load.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But so the Russian gig, is it just the one?
I think it's St. Petersburg one night and then 2 shows in Moscow, I think is how it's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
That'd be fun.
didn't know you had a big following in Russia.
Nor did I, but the guy who books the shows likes what I do and has been... We chatted a couple times online, never really seemed to work out. And it's a bit of a kerfuffle getting there. You have to get an invitation from the Russian government to come over. Yes.
Wow.
So you have to apply for that and then apply for a tourist visa. But I'm going to do all of it tomorrow, and hopefully it'll work out. Quite expensive as a flight, too. I just want to go and make fun of, Putin for 45 minutes.
Don't get arrested or anything. Don't go
Or
too
do
far.
and sell out. I don't mind the idea of being in one of those little glass boxes they put the naughty people in. You see them on BBC News when someone's been arrested in Russia. They put them in sort of a high box with glass walls and 2 hot police in gray suits behind them. I'm like, that looks like fun. And then there's always thousands and many, many more protesters supporting you outside the courts than I ever attract at the Edinburgh Fringe. So I'm thinking maybe make the wrong joke. I've written one. Tell me what you think. I'm dying to tell this. I voted for Trump, but I'm not like Trump. People always say that. They think, Trump supporters are just like him. I'm different. I mean, if I were going to rim Putin, I'd want to take him to dinner first, just so I can know what he's eating, because, it's all about my health. But other than that, we're not So I'm going to talk about Putin being queer, because being gay is so outlawed in the UK. I just want to go on and on about filthy, gay, bumming jokes for 45 minutes with Putin involved.
If only there was an image of Putin where he looked gay. Only there was one.
Find something.
Well, every image of himself that he releases to the media.
I instantly thinking of the topless one on the horse. That's the
Everything.
That's the gayest one, isn't it? Jeez. Well, yeah, it'd be nice that your show will probably be the last comedy show they have, maybe. Because
I know.
Just go down in flames.
It's like when I played India, after I left, they put homosexuality back on the books as being illegal. But I'm not saying that was my responsibility.
It's a bit of a coincidence,
isn't it? Grinder, but that was just for material. I don't know.
How'd you go down in India? Not literally. I mean, how? Yeah,
I get it. As often as I could. No, I really enjoyed it, and it's interesting. When you go on Grindr there or whatever, all the locals who are totally gay friendly and find like you're going to get arrested for that because that's all fake. They're watching you through that. I'm like, they don't care about me. And if they were watching me, I'd give them a show. They're not watching me. As in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Doha, they weren't watching me there either. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. For one thing, the Middle East, not including India, although it is the gayest of all gay in gay world. I mean, I grew up in what I thought was a gay world in San Francisco, but you go to Dubai or Doha, and they trot up to you on a camel and offer you a ride. They address you. I'm like, leave something on, I'll catch cold. Are you checking my tan line? The men cannot keep their paws off of one another. It's outrageous. We went to a club they took the comics out. Okay, for one thing, you have access to everything in the Middle East if you have money. Everything. Everything. So we went to a club, and it was lined with very tall, Amazonian, beautiful women, mostly blonde, mostly German, mostly imported, obviously. And I said to the guy the two guys who brought us the comics there, why are these women here? Oh, they're just window dressing. We need them here. So our wives don't suspect us. Your wives don't suspect you. And then they take each other in the separate urinals and do coke together and blow each other.
Wow.
And then they come back to the table and laugh about it. And who wants a blowjob? Who wants some cocaine? Who wants to blow me? What? But it's a completely patriarchal culture where the men get full run of whatever they want. All they have to do is get married and have kids. Once they do that, and they don't label themselves in any particular way, in any political term like homosexual or gay, then, the sky is literally fucking the limit.
Wow.
I was shocked and surprised by their behavior.
What about for the lesbians? Are they catered to, or is that a bit more tricky for them?
Yeah, it's out of my realm. I think probably maybe they're like the Victorians and don't think lesbians exist, and so they've not outlawed it. I don't know, but I didn't get a strong sense. To be honest with you, there was one quote unquote gay club in Dubai that a comic took me to who's not gay, but he goes there because the bartenders give him free booze and he likes the music. We went there and I didn't see any gay or lesbian activity there at all.
No.
And I met some gay women at the events, at the comedy shows. They were proud and out and beautifully dressed, holding hands. It didn't seem to be a problem. We were also indoors in a hotel, in a banquet room. And as long as you keep any affection, and heterosexual or otherwise, indoors, it's fine. My impression was that the government doesn't want trouble.
Yeah.
They want it to seem like as open a tourist destination as possible. That was the feeling I got while I was there, both times. So, you want some muff? There's muff. Just keep in your hotel room.
Yeah. How long are you there for?
Oh, I'll be there for about a week, only a week.
Okay, that's long enough. I
think Phil Nickel is doing March, and that's the last show.
That is the last.
No, nothing's going to happen. Everyone's always afraid of what's going to happen. Nothing. You know what? Nothing happens. When I played South Africa, I missed the first night because I was on tour of a 3-week run at a festival. So I didn't get the speech by the self-hating, closeted, terrified, blonde producer of that show. But apparently the speech included, but wasn't limited to, don't talk about religion. So when I closed the show, when I arrived, I went to close it, and I opened with, what you would imagine I might open with. Yeah. And I'm sure I said something like, I don't know, something about Muhammad. I thought.
I mean, obviously.
I'm sure I did, but in jest. And by the way, it would have been something like Muhammad would have come, but the room was full of, Muslims, and so you can't ignore them. That's offensive. Yeah. They paid to get in. Why shouldn't they be part of the show? By the way, they fucking loved it. I didn't get punished by them when I came off stage. The producer's apoplectic. Didn't you hear the speech? No, I wasn't here. Well, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, fine. But once you tell a comic that, it's all they're thinking about. So the next night, I'm like, okay, don't talk about the Quran. Don't mention Muslim people. Don't mention the Troubles. Well, the Quran, what a cunt. I mean, you can't, it's impossible to not do it. And then I started talking about, the trans community there has been quite vocal for much, much longer than here, for quite a long time. And within the indigenous people's population, there's quite a thriving trans community. And those people would show up at the shows in couples and groups. And so we had this trippy BMW showroom. It was so strange where they put the gay and lesbian show. So weird. And so they're in there. And so I'm making jokes about them. And the prime minister, or the guy who's about to become prime minister or president, whatever, had Jacob Zuma, had famously, as a politician, raped an HIV/AIDS activist who's also HIV positive.
Wow. And
she was also a friend of his family's. And when he went to court for rape, he defended himself by saying, well, I'm all right. I washed myself in beetroot afterwards.
What the?
Right. Because the myth in South Africa was the way to purge HIV from yourself if you've been exposed is beetroot. Now, that aside,
That's someone having a prank.
his own safety was his concern. And he got off, by the way, twice.
Yeah.
And
And being made
then became president of South Africa.
Wow.
Anyway, I brought that up in my set again and again and again, relentlessly, until it was painful for them and me, but I couldn't help it. And they tried to move my set. They couldn't fire me because they couldn't afford to, but they tried to move my set from closing to somewhere else. And the other comics, to their benefit, were like, you can't. For one thing, none of us want to follow him. He's a caution, but also he's got to close. I mean, that's what this is. So. And again, nothing bad happened.
No.
But they couldn't fire me because I'm in all the reviews.
Yeah.
It's like you have to include me in it. So the only people who are worried are the people whose jobs are at stake. But then don't bring me there. Watch me on Zoom. Read my media. I don't care what you do. I don't give a shit about your fucking festival. I'm only here for vacation. I don't care about your politics or your job or your closeted fucking boyfriend you drive off with in your fucking, limo every night. You are not my problem. What I'm here for is about my relationship with the audience, which is very intimate and important to me and them. And they get the full show they've paid for. So you back the fuck off or fire me, but don't tell me what I can and can't include in my set once you've flown me all the way here.
Yeah.
And I'm not grand, or I'm an old hippie, but I just want the show to go well. I just want people to enjoy themselves, That's all. That's all that should happen.
Yeah.
So
no, that's good. I mean,
that's all that will happen in Russia. That's why I say all that, because really what will happen is I'll hopefully make a room full of people laugh for 3 shows.
Yeah.
And then nothing will
Yeah.
happen. Nobody cares about a 59-year-old queer from San Francisco. Oh, he talked about blowjobs. Wow. Seriously, he did? My God. Right? Alert the police. You mean an old gay from California talked about bumming on stage? Oh my God. What? Jesus. Hide the Bibles. I mean, of course I do. If I don't, that would be weird.
Yeah.
all you're doing is talking about it. You're not doing it on stage.
They're just, I have, but they're just ideas.
I know you opened for us that time in the Lil Show, I remember.
I pissed on someone's cardigan once in Edinburgh, but I mean, it's a late night. I was drunk. But no, I don't. Of course, you're right. They're just ideas. They're not going to hurt anybody.
No.
They're just, they're setups and punchlines.
It's all fiction, isn't it? It's all fiction. Come on.
Yeah.
That's your defense. One question, though. Is it fresh beetroot or pickled?
He made it sound as though it was beetroot, the juice of beetroot. Oh. So I would think,
You dip it in.
It would be interesting to, it's all in the, I'm sure it's still in the press. It's quite shocking when it all happened.
Yeah.
Quite depressing for the LGBT community too, because the HIV rate in South Africa at the time, and perhaps still, was so incredibly high, and the communities were being gay and heterosexual were being devastated by it. So his response and the fact that he was, found innocent was really horribly painful. Yeah. And I thought the only place you could really talk about it, and also the fact that 2 actors who were lovers had been kidnapped while leaving a dinner party and hogtied, tortured, and then murdered, left on the side of a freeway. That happened while I was there. It's quite a big case. And the only person or peoples who can talk about these things in a public forum, I would think, is a comedian. Because it's our job to sort of make sense of it so people can somehow deal with it, which was, I think, so hard for so many people while the clubs are closed during the COVID thing, and why comedy kind of flourished on Zoom, because I think people, they go to live performance hoping for some sort of solution or explanation about what's happening around them. Yeah. Or some common experience that they can turn it into something they can enjoy.
Yeah.
Because everything for the last 2 years has been so fucking grim,
It has. Yeah.
We all know everything's shit. It'd just be nice for someone to be like, everything is shit, but this is quite funny about it. Like, thank you. That's helped me.
Yeah. How have you found the Zoom gigs?
They almost killed me, and I stopped doing them a while ago. And Zoom yoga, I almost died. I literally almost died. I can't. My entire body inflamed. I couldn't sleep for about 4 months. I couldn't defecate for quite a while. I was bloated like a dolphin. I looked like a dolphin. My whole face, my neck expanded. I went to the doctor. I thought I was dying. I couldn't. I'm allergic to Zoom. This is a big thing for me to do this. I'm assuming I'll be in bed for 3 days. I can't do it. I can't have personal contact with someone on camera. It's too surreal for me. It's too futuristic. I'm too much an old man in The Simpsons waving my fist to the moon. Where are the kids? Why are they in the house? They should be out playing. I think this is dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know who's watching me.
Yeah.
It's horrifying to me.
Yeah.
It's my nightmare. Any thinking person's nightmare is happening right now between the three of us, I think. But what do you got? What are you going to do?
No, that's it. Well, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
I will say that. It's very nice to see you. The worst thing about Zoom I've found is when you've got a delay. That even makes, because it's already an alien sort of concept to talk to someone over the video like this and do it. But when there's a delay, oh my God, it is
terrible.
The worst.
Yeah.
It is the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, you see those old like news reports where there's a delay when they're talking to someone in the field. But when you're trying to have a one-to-one conversation with someone for a podcast,
it wrecks the flow.
It really do. If you want evidence of that, listen to the Greg Proops episode.
Bless him.
Friday. Did anything particular happen on Friday?
Friday. Well, we were here. We had dinner. My husband grilled some chicken.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, I know. We went for a walk in our hood and found a gorgeous new organic shop on Brick Lane. We've been waiting for quite some time because I've altered my diet. I won't bore you with the details, but I only eat certain kinds of food now.
Oh, we've had a few of them as guests.
While we were away last year, we came back and a tiny sliver of an organic shop had opened around the corner. And I live near Shoreditch, so you'd think there'd be a plethora, but there aren't. Because one thing young people millennials, are fucking cheap. And also, they won't cook. So they order all their shit food in. They have a McDonald's app. But I can't eat that shit. So this tiny organic was like an oasis. Oh, God. I ordered all my creepy Indian powders that make my concoctions in the morning, all my jetamansi powder and all my ground mushroom. It's a long story. But anyway, my husband thinks I'm a witch or warlock. So yes, that opened. But he's limited. And then we found this one on Brick Lane on Friday, much larger, incredible produce. And then we found another one. It's gotten very chic and trendy. But I think, from what I heard from my Ayurvedic doctor, I think this is catching on, actually, this sort of food. I think people do want purer organic food. I think they want whole milk from a farm, the way they had when they were kids, maybe. They want cream on the top, unhomogenized, which is the only kind I can drink. They want proper bottled water from the source. They want, they want fresh food because they've been home for 2 years and they've had time to cook and learn about it. So I think people are looking, and they must be, because there's now 3 sources before there were 0. So that's what we do. Oh, and we went to the farm near us. There's a farm in central London. There's 3, actually. The one very close to us. And bought some milk from the cow in a cute little bottle.
Oh,
nice.
There we go. I mean,
It's
we live in Kent, in Ashford, but it isn't literally in the countryside. It's middle of nowhere. And it's a little farm as well. And we get our milk delivered, and that's been a real novelty, hasn't it?
It has been.
Nice.
You could get that in the city
I know,
anyway,
but it just feels like it's a novelty because we've had to do that because there's no shops in walking distance at all where we are.
Is it unhomogenized milk, pasteurized, fed on grass?
It comes in a milk bottle, glass one.
The option's there, but I haven't made the switch.
Is there a cream on the top?
There's no cream in it, is there?
No, we get the semi-skimmed.
Yeah, they would take that off. I mean, I want the cream.
No.
I would love
no
it. I'd love it.
semi-skimmed. No, get the whole milk. No, please drink whole milk.
Okay.
But
Please.
my concern is I'm quite big, so I thought semi-skim's better for you. But
No, it's not. It's the same. And what you're not getting is nutrition. So you're drinking the milk, getting the same amount of calories, pretty much, but you're not getting what the milk can provide you with.
Yeah, we got our excuse now. There we go. We can switch to it.
Scott Capurro
You can switch to whole milk and cook it. If the milk is from a farm, you must cook it.
Yes. But I don't think we.
No,
need
this
to do
one's
that.
not direct from the farm.
No,
Right.
this will be.
Yeah.
It's milk and more.
It'll be drinkable.
It'll
from
be
the
drinkable.
bottle.
Yeah, before the bottle.
Yeah.
Treated.
That's good. I make my own ghee now, and we buy, raw split lentils and cook them. None of it's difficult, but time consuming, but it tastes so much better. And my health has improved vastly. So I highly recommend it. That's all I'll say. It's very good.
You haven't gone vegan, obviously. So
No,
I mean,
no, God, no.
no.
I have some self-respect. No, I eat all the stuff. I eat bread, and thankfully there's an excellent bakery behind our building that bakes the most delicious bread. So we just try to eat it all fresh, you see, and not
Yeah.
from a box.
Yeah,
That's all. We don't want processed shit in our body. You can feel it when you're eating something that's older than you.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I mean, I always like the idea of a KFC, but when I've had it,
feel disgusting.
oh
Yeah.
God, I
She
feel
has to
like
kiss
it
you after that.
looked-
It's disgusting. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You should be
You just
ashamed of
feel like
yourself.
poison.
I am ashamed of
Also,
myself.
chicken is so lovely. A fresh organic chicken takes
I
20
know.
minutes to cook up, and it tastes amazing.
I know. I'm a terrible
You
person.
don't really know, though. You don't know.
No, I don't. I mean, I've got them on speed dial. I don't know.
Well, when I met my husband, he was eating that garbage, and I'm like, you cannot. I don't want it in the house. I don't want you in the house if you've eaten it. And he's like, well, no, I'm fine. Brazilian male, completely raised by his mother. Never had made his bed. Had no idea what I meant when I said make the bed. Had no idea how to do it.
Oh.
Anyway, that all changed. I got him off his support of the death penalty, baby steps. But anyway, he brought some of that shit up, and then he said to me, "No, I can do you what I want." And then he spent like 2 months in our relationship. I came home. He's on the bed. Gallstones. He gets gallstones.
Oh,
I'm like, that's from the shit you're eating, you moron. So we took him off that food, and he hasn't had one in years now. So I know.
How long you been with him now?
13 years.
Ooh,
A lot of gallstones.
there's a lot of girls going to
That's a lot of cool
stay.
stuff.
How long did it actually take to wean him off the junk food then?
Wean him off the food I know about 3 or 4 months, I think. It took a while, but I still find treasures hidden, little things, all over. He loves like Cadbury eggs. He loves those Cadbury eggs.
They are good.
Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't?
No,
So
I know, right? Yeah, they are good.
I find them everywhere. Easter is a difficult time for us. I'll find little packets of little rainbow-colored eggs in the robe pocket, or little chocolate Cadburys. I'll go to put on a pair of shoes and I find a Cadbury.
It's like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
He's
You know,
doing his own Easter
yeah.
egg hunt.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh dear. Well, that's good. I mean, I would love to get behind the whole organic thing. If I'm honest with you, I think we are eating.
We are eating better. Like since
Yeah.
we moved here, we're definitely eating better. But out of London, because we've had to plan things more. And
Yeah,
Mm.
because no one delivers here.
Oh, right. Really?
We're so
so you
remote.
can't do takeaways and
Yeah,
stuff.
no one delivers here. We get our food shopping here,
Our groceries.
groceries and stuff like that. But takeaway, no.
Oh, well, then that's
No one delivers
good.
it.
You're right. That's good. But you can order,
There was one evening where I tried to order a doner kebab, and I was outside for 45 minutes in the dark
With a lantern.
with a lantern, trying to tail this car down.
Poor guy.
And he was like, "I've driven up and down there about 2 or 3 times now." I was like, "No, you fucking haven't. I've been stood out here with a lantern."
How desperate were you?
Not
You
a
were
chance,
desperate.
mate.
You were fucking desperate.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I had some beans instead in
Whoa.
the end.
I think we did. I think we had beans on
Beans on
toast.
toast
Oh,
in the end.
God.
So I think we're at the weekend now. This is where
Oh,
we
right.
are.
Well, Saturday I did that TV show I described to you earlier.
Yes.
Headliners, 11 o'clock. And then Sunday, we woke up very late, around noon,
Makes sense.
went for another walk, and searched for a restaurant with food we found appropriate. We failed. So we came back, as you can imagine, and my husband made some delicious something. Oh, he stir-fried some cabbage and carrots and made some rice pilaf and baked his own sort of apple crumble with organic sugar and
Nice.
Nice.
ghee. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And then we watched Made,
Okay.
that series on Netflix, which is
haven't seen it myself, but I'm aware of it. Yes.
brilliantly acted, but so grim. It's about poverty in the U.S. and no safety net, and it's so hard to watch. I was raised by a single woman, and some of these memories, she's single on it, and it's that weird feeling when you're watching it too. I've heard comedians mention this in their accent. I've also heard writers talk about it on Radio 4 about this feeling over the last few years. And they're not blaming the Tory party, but it is Radio 4 after all. And they're saying there is a lack of what they think a loss of empathy that's expanding throughout the Western Hemisphere. And I read this interesting interview with Leslie Caron. You may be too young to know who Leslie Caron was.
No
idea. She's still alive. She's still living. And I think she lives in Paris or here. And she's in her 90s, but she was a singer and a dancer. And if you've ever seen Gigi or An American in Paris, she's the female. She's brilliant. And obviously alive in Paris during the war. And she said, people imagine that during the war, during times of crisis like what we're going through right now, which is not the war, but feels like one, I'm sure, to some people.
Yeah, it does.
And during times of crisis, you expect people, locals, to come together, but they really didn't in Paris. They were horrible to one another. And they turned on each other, and they were quite rude throughout.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine the stress and trauma they were fucking under, that she somehow survived and had a successful career. How she did that, I have no idea. Because I see people barely surviving this and definitely dropping out of comedy and definitely leaving the circuit and going away.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not they can come back after all this trauma, I'm not sure. Whether or not they can allow themselves to feeling as vulnerable as they probably do to get in front of a live audience. It's very difficult in the best of times. So I have this sense that there's that feeling, especially in the U.S. We were just there, and there's never been really a safety net in most of the country. Anyway, in California, there is something of one. And for instance, if you don't have health insurance, you'll be looked after. Yeah. But there is this feeling there of you're fending for yourself, and during an international pandemic, that can seem quite severe and unhelpful. And actually more costly than it needs to.
Yeah.
And so watching this TV show where this woman just suffers episode after episode at the hands of the law or her ex or her family, it's really difficult to watch. Really difficult. And then with the Jatamansi powder, as you know, the Jatamansi powder that I put in water, as you know about this, the Ayurvedic Jatamansi powder. With that powder, you dream like you're still awake.
Oh.
And you're walking through a museum of mirrors. It's the wildest dreams I've ever fucking had. My entire past is coming back to me. People in my dreams, I'm like, you? What the fuck are you doing here? I haven't talked to you in 20 years. So I had those dreams and woke up Monday exhausted, and then went back to the TV show Monday night.
Oh, man.
Which takes a lot of work because we get all the stories of the day and have to write jokes about them. And they want real jokes. So it's quite a lot of labor, but I enjoy it, obviously.
What time do you film that? Or does it go out live?
It's live.
Oh, it's live.
11 p.m.
Okay.
They repeat it at 1, 5 in the morning, and then 9 a.m. So it's got to be clean. That's the thing. It's not watershed.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you keep what's happening in the news clean at the moment?
You know, I did morning TV for 15 years with Matthew Wright. I did. I said it. I did. I was lucky enough to be a guest on his show as frequently as possible as I could because I loved Matthew Wright. And I loved being at Whiteley's. I loved being in Central London that hour and doing the papers. It was so exciting. I was lucky enough to work with Matthew. He's a genius and meet so many fucking great people on that show. But of course, you had to be immaculately clean on that.
Yeah.
And I see it as a fun challenge as a comedian. I did learn my lesson. I used to go on as a guest, just a day guest, because they were a bit frightened of me at first. Didn't want me on for a week. Weren't sure what would happen. And always afraid of the kids watching, but the kids obviously are in school. But anyway, they're asking me about Sarkozy, who I'd written a bunch of jokes about at the time, a while ago, like 10 years ago. And they said, "Are you a fan?" And I'm like, "I love Sarkozy, tiny Frenchman. He's my type." I mean, in a way, I always imagine it's like having sex with a child, only legal, so not as hot. And we went to commercial, and they tried to pull me off the show. And Matthew had an ear mic yelling at the lawyer saying, "He's a comedian. Clearly he's kidding." So I was, of course, shaking. And the audience, there's a live audience, were like, they could not stop laughing during the commercial break.
I bet.
It's just the laughter went on and on and on. And they had to quiet them down. And we came back from commercial and just went on with the show. And again, all the fear, trepidation, the paranoia, nothing happened. Ofcom was fine. It was a joke. Obviously, I structured it, luckily, in such a way that, although nowadays you probably couldn't say something like that. No. They've gotten so much more cautious now. But really, the boundaries are what make things funny. I mean, Louis C.K. had a sitcom on HBO, I think it was 2 decades ago or quite a while ago, where no holds barred. He could say whatever he wanted. You may remember it was on for only one season. And he and his girlfriend on the show had sex, everything. It was all live. I mean, live in front of a studio audience. And they said, motherfucker and cunt and everything. The show didn't work, obviously. It wasn't picked up, and I don't think it did very well. Whereas his other work on regular TV, network, or on cable, where there's editors and all that, because I think any comic will tell you that it's people's trepidation, angst, and fear that makes comedy funny. It's working within boundaries, not without them. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to going to Russia. I love going to the Middle East because they tell you you can't talk about religion. You can't, not in India, but in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, you cannot talk about the Quran or the Bible because Jesus is in the Quran, obviously, or the royals there. And knowing that when I went on stage, it was difficult, but it was fun too. It was exciting to see what might happen. And it's exciting for the audience because they know they're expats, but they know what's going on and they're waiting to see what you can come up with.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game, isn't it?
Yep, that's right. Well, it sounds like you've had a great week, to be honest.
All right.
If you were to rate your week out of a scale of whatever, what would you rate it?
I'd give it 3.5 stars out of 5, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Sounds about right.
Only because the two swims I've had, I've gone after 3 p.m., so there's been a lot of children there.
Oh,
and
no.
I know, Matt, even though I'm wearing a Speedo, I'm not a pedo in a Speedo. So I know I'm sharing a shower, and you're actually sharing a shower with children.
Yeah.
And one thing these kids do is they turn on all the showers and run between them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm hoping one slips and breaks their tiny little hip, so they suffer for the rest of their lives for wasting water.
Yeah.
That's where my mind's at.
Yeah.
So that's why I give it 3.5 stars.
Yeah. I've only slipped at a swimming pool once, so I remember it now. I remember doing that.
Did you?
It hurts.
Were you running through the showers?
I was running. I wasn't running through the showers. I was running at the side of the pool when I slipped over. The little grill bit?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what they tell you to not run, and you didn't listen.
Yep, I didn't listen. Never did it again.
Yeah, so you learn.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done it.
No.
It's really easy to injure yourself in a pool, actually.
Yeah.
In the water.
Yeah, that's what I did. I dived too acutely and had my eyes shut.
Oh, no.
And just, head smacked into the bottom.
Ow. You're lucky you're alive.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't cut my head open or anything. It hurt. But,
Fucking hell.
No, don't do that.
It's my nightmare. Yeah.
Ever injured yourself in a swimming pool, Scott?
I have during the backstroke because if they don't put up a series of flags for you to see, you don't know when you're coming to the end. And so taking a landmark outside the pool, I took a wrong landmark and went into the side of the pool once.
Whack.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then also tonight, there's a guy training council pool. Don't train in a council pool.
You don't know.
It's me. No, it's me, the old lady in the lane next to me, the slow lane. We're in the medium lane, obviously. The fast lane has 8-year-olds that are much faster than us in their tiny little Speedos. Don't train. It's 25 meters. But anyway, he had paddles and flippers and all these props.
Oh my God.
He's paddling through past me, hitting me. Oh, I'm doing one arm. They're doing one arm. Do you mind if I do some one arm strokes? I'm like, no, you've got 2 arms. Why? Why would you stroke with one? Why? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but luckily he was hot, had a deep voice, and a tiny bathing suit on, so I let him get away with it.
Yeah, that's all it takes, isn't it?
But disappointingly, when I went in the showers, me and the 8-year-olds, he wasn't in there. It was just me.
Did he say he had flippers on?
He had flippers as well.
Oh, good Lord.
Everything. I know. But, swimmers, oftentimes, I think, they say they bring the props, the flippers and the mitts and stuff to strengthen parts of their body, but I think it's just because they're bored.
Yeah.
Going back and forth, it's just trying to break it up.
Yeah. You just want to wait for that one guy who's dressed in his pajamas, just throwing a brick constantly into the water, just going down to get it. I want to see him.
I'm sure in East London, I'm going to see that.
Oh,
yeah.
That's all he does all day. All day. He just throws the brick in, goes to get it, comes back out again. Brick in again. I never did that because I was never a strong swimmer.
I cheated on my 10 meters.
No.
How did you cheat?
My
the boat?
My toe touched the bottom without them looking. Yeah. And
right.
And
that is cheating.
Because in primary school, we had forced to have swimming lessons. And so we had the baby pool and then the big pool. And all my friends got moved to the big pool because I just wasn't paying attention to the swimming lessons. I was just like the splashing. So I tried doing my 10-meter test, which meant if I passed, I could go in the big pool. I cheated on my 10 meters. And then at some point later on, swimming on my back with a float, I ended up swimming into the middle of the pool, realizing couldn't swim, and then nearly drowned and had to be rescued. So that's what happens if you cheat in your 10 meters.
You have a lot of sad swimming stories. A lot of sad swimming stories.
I did get my 5-meter swim badge as far as I got, and I think it was mainly because I was panicking and slowly moving forward as I was panicking.
I'm a bad swimmer and you're awful.
I'm useless. Absolutely useless. Never mind. I floated quite well last time I went there, but I think it's because of all the fast food. But Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
My local pool now, actually.
But flippers, why?
I'm surprised they allowed it, because when I went swimming,
they really shouldn't allow them. Actually,
no,
they shouldn't allow them in the public pool because they're quite But people like them because they can move faster.
Yeah.
And for some swimmers, it's about the speed. But the thing is, you're wearing a prop, so you're not really moving faster. You're being propelled by something else. It doesn't make any sense. But
that's it. I just imagine him going into the changing room and still wearing them. Just the waddle.
That I'd like, with a little snorkel coming up. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And a 1950 speed up. The thing about swimming is, I think, what I like about it is the lack of stuff. I like feeling embryonic, and I like as much quiet, although you can hear the water. But I see people in the water with headphones on because they can't stop the music. It's like, really? You need Madonna in your head while you're doing this? But my husband has said to me many times, stop arguing with people, stop the fighting. Because I've had a lot.
They can't hear you. They've got headphones in.
I know. I have yanked a lot of ankles in the water. I've yanked a lot of ankles. I've stopped a lot of people. I got swung at once too, because they swim past you in the middle of the lane and they hit you. I fucking grab their ankle. I am in the lane. I'm here. A lot of people swim with their eyes closed. Open your eyes. There's 3 of us in this lane. You're going to kill us all, So I've had to,
Yeah.
I'm a slow lane swimmer. I'm probably the slowest of the slow lanes. I am. I get from A to B. I've got a joint condition and things. So swimming is the best exercise for me, and I like the weightlessness. I'm not a strong swimmer, so I have what I call, and it's not meant to be a self-deprecating thing, but I call it, like, if you ever seen an elephant swim, they're just big and just graceful. That's my swim. It's like an elephant. I don't have to stop. I go from end to end without having a break, but I am going incredibly slow. And if I was at sea, I'd be drowning soon. If I go overboard, I just have to resign myself that the quicker I go, the better for me, perhaps.
Skinny people die fastest.
Let's
see. Skinny people die fast. You freeze to death.
I got some buoyancy, so that might keep me afloat for a bit.
But I'd freeze in about 7 minutes.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's true.
So my husband has a bit more weight on him. He'd stay alive a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He gets to watch you go first.
And then he'll eat your food.
Yeah. I'd be Leonardo DiCaprio and he'd be the lady. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you. We'll round it off with that cheery thought.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Is there anything you want to promote or boast about or, confess to?
I'm doing Comedy Unleashed at the Backyard Comedy Club in about 10 days. I think it's on the 7th. It's on a Tuesday night. In about 10 days. And the Backyard's a lovely venue around the corner from my house, actually. And Comedy Unleashed is this gig, and a lot of the comedians from GB News perform there. And it's meant to be to an open attendance of all sorts of political backgrounds. I think people who don't read The Guardian fear that if they go to a comedy club, they'll be humiliated. But this is for all walks of life, for all the peoples. That's how it's promoted, anyway.
Nice.
And for me, it's just a great gig. I really enjoy it. So it'll be quite fun if you want to come along.
That's cool. So, thank you very much, Scott Capurro. And I've been Alex Sievewright. Emi, anything to add?
No.
Fantastic. Well, that was the week that was it? Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, hey. Want a place to put your penis while basking in the Californian sunshine? I thought so. Try the cock sock. Made from 100% polyester fibers, our cock socks will keep your genitals in place and will tease onlookers just enough. All onlookers. The cock sock, available in all sizes.